This you?
Was poppin', was poppin'. Welcome, Nicky and Moose. I'm Nicky. That's Moose. What's up, Moose?
What up, y'all?
And welcome to the live show. First and foremost, you know how we start this off. Episode 130 has dropped. The audio experience dropped by the time you're watching this, okay? It is a tribute to the late, great Nipsey Hussle. This week marks his 4-year anniversary of his passing, and so it wouldn't be right if we didn't acknowledge and celebrate his life. So go check that out, episode 130. Share this live if you're jumping in. Share this live. 3, if you support Nicky and Moose, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit us up in the super chat, in the super thanks. And then if you're watching this on Facebook, please hit those stars. It comes all to us and we appreciate it. All that great nine. Moose, how are we feeling?
Man, I think I jinxed myself last week. That's
What
for
you
sure.
mean?
I think I jinxed myself last week. I was on here talking about how great my life has been, and then I got humbled. It said, "Boom, take this flu real quick. Take this flu/COVID real quick. Let me know how grateful you're gonna be after that." Well, I am still grateful though, man. Things are good outside of feeling, a little under the weather the last couple of days. Things are good. I felt like I needed to say that because I listened back to some of the episodes. And Moose, how you feeling? Man, I'm great, man. Things are so good.
Amazing.
They're just so great. Like I went outside and stuff.
Life.
Yeah, and then I came back inside, and then it was good.
It was
like, really?
good. What else did you do? I
Yeah.
opened one eye up, and then I opened the other one, and then
it was like boom.
It was nighttime, and I closed them.
So I went to sleep. Yeah, it was like that. So I was like, nah, let me be real with the people. Let me be real. Yeah, no, just navigating. Of course, the fast first couple of days. It's almost been a week. Yeah, tomorrow marks the 7th day of the fast, so that's been going good too. So yeah, overall grateful. Got humbled, but we're gonna be drinking these liquids on the live. So y'all brace yourselves. Don't mind me. Don't mind me.
As he talks, he's going to take a sip, and it's okay. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
We go through this every year, okay? So if you are a day 1, day 300, you got to know this season.
Right.
He's probably going to drink a lot, and he may sneak in a snack or two. We don't know yet. But we all support it. You feel me?
Yeah.
But, Moose, what are we talking about today?
Man, so really, really important topic. It's funny because you and I were texting just before, and I didn't know you didn't get. Can you share that? Because you didn't finish actually telling me about the whole Meta Verify situation.
Oh yeah, no, I'm always late. I'm late to getting features. I'm one of the first people who reports on them, and one of the last people to ever get the features. So Meta Verified is out. You can now pay for verification both on Instagram and Facebook, and everybody's starting to do it. I even see Moose verified now. However, I don't have that option.
I just thought you were being a rebel because I checked your page.
Absolutely
I'm
not.
not even gonna lie, like low key 3 times. I'm like, oh my God, this is probably Nikki being a rebel, and she don't want to conform to the new norms. And then when you text me that today that you didn't have it, I was like, what?
Yeah, no.
That was surprising. Did you check the hidden settings? Because sometimes
I've checked all settings.
checked all the settings.
All settings. There's no
Okay.
from website to mobile, everything. Just not.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Now our Meta Connects need to get that right. I mean, seriously, I'm happy I got it, but come on, me before Nikki, that's kind of crazy, y'all. Y'all messing
Hey,
up.
it happens. It happens. It's
Did
okay.
Nikki
So
does Nikki and Moose got it?
no, I think anything that's connected to me never gets anything. It's horrible. It's just
They looking
it's
at you like you're
trash.
the competition. They're like, yo,
Right, right,
nah,
right, right, right.
we ain't gonna let her get the upper hand.
Right, 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 right. So
Interesting.
it's a- it's
Interesting.
it's all good. I'm
Interesting.
A-okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Before we go super into it, right? Before we go you like my hoodie? You like my hoodie?
Fire, bro. I
You
like
like
that.
it?
Loading.
Yeah,
Loading.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So everybody's a global brand. You know I'm all big about that. And that is this is my merch. This is my merch.
Talk about it. Talk
So,
about it.
Just for the live people, all right, just for those people who are watching this replay, we normally just leave it for deeper than the brand, but I'll post the link for those people who want the hoodie. Yeah, you know what I mean, who want the hoodie, who want the shirt.
Stop playing.
I'll drop it for y'all. It's going to only be available for 24 hours. That's it. That's
Yo,
all I
that's
can
fire.
do. All right, that's
No,
all
you
I can
better
do.
stop playing. Y'all better
Listen,
take advantage of that. That's real.
that's all I can do.
Yeah,
So I'm
because
about
you
to.
haven't made it available anywhere yet, right?
Nope.
Wow.
So here we go.
Okay.
Create pressure. Oops. Hold on, let me put it back up. Createpressure.com. Okay, createpressure.com. Get the global brand is loading because we're all global brands. But that's my little slight plug early.
Early.
You feel me? So,
Yo, that's
anyways.
dope. That's dope. Hey, if you cop one while we're on the live, just drop a line in the chat. I wanna see us take some early action on that. That's pretty dope,
And I'll shout
man.
y'all out because I could get
Yeah.
notifications of who.
Yeah, no, let's I don't know. Let's see how I feel. I usually get too
Uh-oh.
audacious and start getting crazy. So let me I got
My man's about to give out money.
Yeah.
It's Ramadan.
Let me-
He's feeling charity-ish.
let me take my time. I don't want to get too crazy over here, and then I say some stuff like, "Dang it, why did I say that? That was big commitment." So just how about that? If you
How about that?
snag, yeah, let's take it easy real quick. Let's take it slow. How about that? If you snag one of them joints, drop a line in the chat. I want to make sure we shout you out, and I'll think of something cool that we can award you for being the first one. So yeah, keep us posted on that. Other than that, for those of you tapping in, man, what's up, y'all? Good evening. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Nicky Moves Live. You know the deal. Drop in where you're checking in from, with the exception of Arkansas. We don't want to know that you're in Arkansas because I'm still scarred from saying Arkansas.
Don't
Shout out
do
to Mike.
that.
I know, I'm joking. Mike, all love, Mike. Thanks for getting me on that. But share this with a couple of people, man. I want to make sure, we spread this information and help people to increase their influence. That's what we're talking about tonight. It's crazy because I thought it'd be so timely that we talk about influence right around the time that this meta verification. Yeah, that sounded crazy. Right around the same time that this meta verification hookup came out. I wanted to touch on it slightly from a business standpoint, but more importantly, I really do want to talk about influence. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people who are building brands and businesses, they focus so much on trying to grow the brand, the business, the followers, the consistency in the content, the products, the services, and rightfully so. You need to do that. That's the thing that actually grows those two components. But at the end of the day, you got to think about, what is it that's going to attract someone to you in the first place, right? When I break down that thing, that unique element, that one in let's call it a million, because there's only one of you in this world anyway, I translate that unique thing to influence. Now, the truth is we all have influence. Like John Maxwell says about leadership, I believe we all have influence. We have influence over certain things, over certain categories, lanes, right? Unique skill sets in a specific category. And that's why oftentimes it's so important to stay in your lane for that reason. But quite honestly, it's difficult for a lot of people to translate their influence from the real world to the digital world. Right? Some people overextend themselves and do some things that they can't be consistent at. Other people don't do anything at all, and they just try and hide under a bucket, not even a rock, but under a bucket. I don't know why the bucket. Let's just go with the bucket. but they hide, they hide because they're just like, well, I don't want to be seen. There's that fear of not wanting to be seen or doing something that's out of character, or you just don't know how to do it, so you do nothing at all. And so I want to talk tonight about how do we increase our influence, especially and really translating that influence from the real world to the digital space, more specifically on social media. Now, of course, it's going to start with some personal development things, because there's always a personal mentality behind it all that stops us in our tracks and allows us to have the things that we have or the things that we can't get. It's all because of us. At the end of the day, we're greatly responsible for it. So I want to talk about that, Nix, and dive into it from a personal standpoint first, and then really let's go tactics on this thing, because I believe that there are some specific strategies and tactics that we can utilize to really help people translate that influence from the real world to the digital space, and then let everything else afterward grow. I see we got is that T-Relly?
Look.
Oh,
yep.
Is that T-Relly?
Yep.
Wow. Okay, T-Relly. Come on, man.
And we got another one, CJ, aka Crystal Jordan, just purchased one too. So yeah, we out here.
That's love. That's love. I love it. I love it. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. Let's get some more people on it though. We got 25 people on here. We should be at least get another 19. How about that? Let's get get everybody to buy a hoodie. You get a hoodie, and you get a hoodie.
You get a hoodie. You know what I mean?
Nah, that's love though. That's love. But yeah, Nix, take us away, man. What's when you think about people who struggle to translate their influence from the real world to the digital space, what's usually that thing that stops them in the beginning of the journey?
Well, that's the whole, we separate what's happening digital and real life. Like, for some reason, we treat social media, our website, our social presence, our digital presence, whether it is lower than who we are or too above than what we are, right? So lower meaning we may have a really great position in our 9 to 5. We may have a really great position or status when it comes to our entrepreneurship life, our personal life. But that does not necessarily reflect digitally, because we assume that because the world that we are seeing on our timeline is way more important than our life, that our influence is actually lowered because we're not putting out our authentic self and who we really are. So that's one thing. Two, we may be thinking a little bit too high, meaning we may be fabricating fake it till you make it situations to show that we have it all together when honestly we don't. And it actually hurts our influence when we are moving in that way, where we are fabricating it or even downplaying it, and we're not really focusing on just showing our true self, because our true self is what people seek for, is what people are influenced by, and will move in the way that you want them to move, because they see you move authentically. And there's not many people who can do that. There's not many people who can go on social media and show their ups, show their downs, show their stagnant levels of, oh my God, this is not growing, this is not going anywhere. Show their pensive side. Show it's very rare, and hence why the word authenticity gets spoken about often, to the point where some people are like, nah, I ain't feeling it. Like, what else do you have? I hear authenticity, I hear consistency, I hear it all the time. What else is there? There's nothing else. There's those two things, and the reason why you continuously hear it over and over again, because probably you're not moving in that way. Because I put out, and I was talking about it on the I2M meetup. Shout out to everybody who came out to Michigan this past weekend for Deeper Than the Brand. But I was talking about our content truly reflects who we are. And there's 3 stages to where if we have brand confusion, there is no growth. There's no influence. There's no increase in our digital impact, right? We have self-doubt. That's the second phase where we kind of know what we're talking about, right? Brand confusion, we're all over the place. But self-doubt, we kind of know who we need to talk to. We kind of know what we need to post, what we need to put out there in the digital world. So there's some growth, but there's not an influx of growth. There's not us reaching millions because we're holding ourselves back. And then we have the third one, which is brand purpose, where we truly know who we're speaking to. We know what we're putting out in the world. We know who we're impacting. We know the problem that we're solving and our principles and values. And now we're skyrocketing, right? Because we moving in purpose. We're moving as our true selves in our brand, in our brand profiles, websites, content, that whole nine. We're moving with purpose. And so now the growth is out of this world because we have everything aligned. So long answer.
Wow.
But
Wow.
yeah.
That's fire. I love that brand purpose. I don't know that I've ever heard you share that breakdown before, but that's fire. I see you leveling up on the people. That's amazing. That's amazing.
A little bit.
You know, yeah, no, that's really dope. But some of the words that I heard, and as you were talking, I heard vulnerability, and I also heard courage, right? Because I think from one, you need to have a level of vulnerability to be able to express some of your deepest and most, maybe not deepest, but some of your personal, private matters, right? And even if they happen in your work or professional life, they're still personal to you. And so having the courage to share those is ultimately what shows an authentic version of you online. You know, one of the things that come to mind is, you know, how do you do that? You know, because I feel like a lot of people, they know what that means,
Right.
but they don't know how to translate it. So I know for me, one of the things that I had to learn how to not do, like stop doing this. And you know, I like to teach through the negative because that's how my brain works sometimes. I always realize that when I know how not to do something, I can automatically stop worrying about the mistakes and coloring outside of the lines and immediately just flow in the center of where I need to be. And so one of the things I had to learn early on, and a friend of mine actually shared this with me, a good friend named Mario. And I remember we were sitting in the car one day and I was telling him about, you know, some of the things that I've done. And he helped me with a couple of different things, everything from website to graphics to videography to, we had many, many conversations about this early on. And then one time he just randomly said to me, why do you turn on your speaker voice? And I was like, well, what do you mean my speaker voice? He's like, you know, when you and I are talking, we're having normal conversation. But for whatever reason, anytime you know that you're about to quote unquote start speaking or presenting, you do this thing with your voice where you intentionally try to project or change the way you sound. He said, why do you do that?
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. And I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, I kind of took it a little personal. I was like, speaker voice, like, you don't know about this stuff. You're not in this space. What do you know about speakers? This is what you're supposed to do. Right. And kind of like got in my feelings about it a little bit. But sure enough, as I started to pay attention more and more, and this transformation didn't happen right away. It took a couple years until I really started to find my voice. And for those of you who've been following for quite some time, you might have heard me say that you got to get to a point in your career, especially online, where you do enough bad reps that you find your voice, you find your unique sound. It's not an exaggerated way of talking or communicating or looking or whatever that thing may be that you feel you need to do to be successful in your space. It's not an exaggerated version of that. It's the actual you, right? And just bringing that online. Now, naturally, from time to time, yeah, you may be overly passionate about a specific topic and you're incredibly enthusiastic. And so you want to express that enthusiasm, toward the thing that you're talking about. Heck, there might be days where you're incredibly sick and you're coming off of a bad cold and flu and a couple of days of COVID. And so you sound a lot more mellow and like really, really calm, like I do today. And
Very,
that's,
very intentional. Very intentional.
you just got to mix it into the content and say, hey, this is what I am. But yeah, code switching, absolutely. But I think that people struggle with the how to show their real selves online because in their minds, they don't think that their real selves will be accepted in the digital space. They think that an exaggerated version of them is the only thing that will be accepted online.
That's
And
true.
so that's one of those things that I think it has to start right there, that you got to find your sound. You got to find your voice. Now, look, some people they become notable or they become known for maybe their comedy skits or their sense of humor. And so, yeah, they choose to really primarily highlight that character or that personality or that essence online because that's what they've become known for, right? Like even with ET. And I love because everybody says ET is yelling, but they don't understand that his voice is he. I joke about this all the time. I say he doesn't know how to whisper. He can't whisper. Like his voice box is so strong that when he whispers, you hear him on the other end of the room.
That's
So
facts.
to the outside person, you think he's yelling when in reality he's just talking and he's mixing that with the natural energy and enthusiasm that he has toward the subject that he's talking at, and that's what you get, that extreme energy that's buzzing through the screen. And so at the end of the day, that is his authentic version. I say all that to say, to really ask you, for those of you who are listening or watching, what is your authentic sound? Have you really discovered? Have you put in enough bad reps to figure out the things that don't work? I'm not even going to talk about the things that work. I just want to know, have you put in enough reps to figure out the things that don't work? Because once you realize that, you get closer to that unique influence formula, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like those elements that people are so, how they say even in clothing, like some people just look great in dark colors, others
Yes.
look great in neutrals, others look great in crazy bright colors. It's like that's a part of and I believe there's a version of that for influence, and you have to unlock that. So last thing I'll say, and I'll pass it over to you. I know I just kind of went on a small
Oh,
tangent there,
go.
but
You good. You good.
yeah, a big part of my influence came, I like to celebrate because I'm a numbers guy, and I'm not looking at my, account engagement or those things for the vanity metrics, but I am thinking about it from a business standpoint. I'm saying, man, I have increased my account by about 100%, like just under 100% in a little under 10 months, right? Like I've doubled the size of my account. And you know why? If you go back to the very first post that I shared when I made my reentry back into the social media world, I said, and almost like word for word, I said, I have been dishing out life and relationship advice since I was in fifth grade, literally, no exaggeration. And so I'm deep and I'm ready to embrace that now. Part of my influence is in being deep. It really is. It's about sharing those thought-provoking ideas or questions that make you think and sit and ponder and think about your life differently so that you can choose to do differently, in my hopes, better in your life. And so for the first 5 years, Nix, I was running away from that. Because in my mind, and this is why I say it's a level of vulnerability and a level of courage, and you got to balance the two out. In my mind, I'm like, damn, but who am I to talk about some of this life stuff? Like, I don't know. I just don't feel right. And sure enough, 5 years, almost no growth really. A couple of pops, but nothing major. And so all in a matter of 10 months, you see this whole thing come back full circle and run the way it has, just because I know that my influence is in this part. And now I'm waking up every day and I'm just hitting that. I'm just going to the same spot and I'm knocking that thing right upside the head. Like, go for it. It's who you are. And so all of that to say, you got to find that for you, and not the exaggerated version of it. Not like that. Oh yes, this is it. If that's how you sound, so be it. But that's it didn't work for me. That part didn't work for me.
I can see why. I can see why.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad.
It's okay.
It's bad.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah. Switch it into the maybe more of the tactical things now. I know we're a little over halfway through, but when you start thinking about some of maybe the actual tactics, I don't know if it's specific to the way one would produce content. Maybe it's specific to the type of content that ought to be produced. But what would you say are some tactics that can be used as it relates to just the social media ecosystem in general that can help people translate their influence from the real world to the digital space?
I think one first thing to say is when we are switching from real life to digital, right? We have to find that pocket of what feature that the platform is putting energy to that I can utilize to show who I am, my impact, and my influence, right? So if we're talking about YouTube, they're putting a lot of energy towards YouTube Shorts. So if I'm trying to get a higher reach, more eyeballs to look at my stuff, to increase the influence, then I'm going to find the features that each platform is putting energy on, and I'm going to go in on that a certain time in the week. So when it comes to the podcast, we'll do YouTube Shorts probably 5 to 6 times a week, right? To bring in new people to increase our influence. When we're talking about Instagram, now we understand Reels had its moments. It looks like now it's going to be Reels and carousels. So what do you think is going to happen? We're going to incorporate carousels into Nicky and Moose and see how that flows, right? Because I understand there is a energy when it comes to Instagram of how do we keep people longer on the platform. They took away the importance of pictures before, and now they're bringing it back. And so that's one of those things. Facebook is still going to be Reels, LinkedIn is going to be video. So are we aware of what features on these social media platforms that is going to increase our influence? That is, one, going to increase our brand awareness, that is then going to get more eyeballs that will increase our influence, right? Then collaborations. Who are we collaborating with that will bring validation to who we are, bring more people to our ecosystem, and have them go through the customer journey ladder, right? So is that a podcast? Like, is that a live, whether it is Instagram live, YouTube live, is that Facebook live? Who are we collaborating with? Are we doing a blog post, swapping email lists? Like, what are we doing to collaborate with others that are in our niche, right? Or even a little bit outside of our niche, but have the same values and principles. The reason why is when it comes to our niche, we want to get that audience, right? But then sometimes we want to go outside of our niche to get a different type of audience that may not have known they needed us, may not have known they want to rock with our niche or just the individual who we are. And so then the live allows them to know you quicker than actually them going through your content, because they assume with your content, where on a live they get to understand who you are a little bit more from how your demeanor is, your tone is, just personality wise, information wise, motivation wise, entertainment wise. They get to know all about that within a live. So if you collaborate people on a live, that's going to help increase your conversions from people to then it will allow them to pay attention a little bit more because they've already invested 10, 15, 30, an hour of their time to you, right? And so that's from a live aspect, but you could do from a video collab. You could do from a podcast collab. You can do from a written collab. You could do a photo collab. There's a lot of things that you could do that will help you build that digital influence higher and higher, because you're getting in front of more people and they're stamping you, whoever you're collaborating with, that you're valid, and that already brings that level of influence into your brand.
Wow, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah, that's it's difficult to think about lives and not think about you. I'm gonna be honest. I think you've become synonymous with the word live, which is a cool strategy. And it's honestly, it makes social media so much easier when you do it that way, like you suggested. Just focus on one thing that the platform is pushing and just rally behind that. Because in a lot of ways, you're almost stealing the momentum because they're giving you momentum, right? So it's like they're trying to grow. And so you jump on with them and make it happen. I want to share this one too, and maybe you could add your input on it, because I'm curious to know what you do, to get answers to this piece here. But I do believe that there's also a fine line between focusing on yourself, or like expressing your authenticity and all that stuff, and then also doing what you need to do to learn more about other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times, people, when they're only expressing things from their viewpoint or standpoint, they fail to realize that may not be the reality for the masses,
Mm-hmm.
right? There are some underlying, like, unique circumstances, or like you said, values, motivations, drivers, interest, hobbies, things that have a larger, almost demographic or community, that if you can start interacting with those people and figuring out the code, the language, you can almost automatically increase your influence just by knowing them better,
Mm-hmm.
right? Especially if it's a group that you aim to serve. I love this example that he always shares, but he says, if you're ever somewhere, let's say at a hotel in a different country or something like that, and the person who's coming to serve you or drop off maybe your room service, and he's expecting you to not speak his or her language, right? Because you're, let's say, a foreigner, you're a visitor, you're traveling. But the minute you can talk to that person in their native tongue, it just unlocks the level of service you're going to get. Not to say that their service was going to be bad, but it's just, you can see a person light up because it's like, yo, you know my language. Like, you cared enough to prioritize what I care about ahead of what is most convenient and comfortable for you, because at the end of the day, that's the common language. And so if you want to increase your influence, I have to say, take a deep interest into the study of people. There's something about individuals who can be at least whole enough and selfless enough to look outside of themselves and really understand what makes people tick. Why do they behave and think and communicate the way they do? What are they motivated by? What are their drivers and their interests? And the minute you start infusing that into what you do online and, of course, in the real world, your influence is going to increase almost drastically, because it is a spin-off on service. Ultimately, people will always say, you got to serve others, you got to take care of people. That's one of those things that I believe is a sure bet to get you influence as well, or at least get people to, want to be in a relationship with you, or whatever the case may be. But that interest in other people, that's almost a rare breed, man, especially in today's day and age. There's not many people who are like, yo, I'm good. Like, let's focus the attention here towards you or towards the other way. So I do believe that's definitely one of those tactics too, that just simply by dedicating yourself and studying, you can start acquiring that information, and over time embedding it into what you're doing online. Because now just the way you communicate, the content alone is going to sound different than everybody in your space and in your niche, because you have more in-depth information. It's not just the surface level stuff that everybody's saying about that particular, that lane that you may be in. The minute you start really interacting and locking in with those people, you're going to have things to share that others may not really know about, because they're not boots on the ground, rubbing shoulders with the real people of that community or that niche and demographic. So that's another one of those tactics that I would definitely say, just invest a little time. It's so easy. You can do it by joining Facebook groups or community groups on whatever things. Heck, it's funny because I joined the Nicky and Moose, what is it
Broadcast
called?
channel.
Yeah, I joined the broadcast. I'm like, yo, let me see what the community vibe is like, right? I want to be able to interact with the listeners. I mean, granted, it's not a two-way communication street on that, on that particular feature, but you can see what they vote toward, what they like, what they dislike. And that is going to give us better ammo and information, not to benefit for ourselves, but to just come back on here and be of better service to you all. So I will say there's a lot of things, man, that if you just dedicate a little bit of time, you can get that information about people, and then connection, influence, next level.
That's a fact. Random break. Shout out to some of these new names that we're seeing on the live. Justin, Russell, we see you. CJ is normally like on the Instagram live, so shout out to CJ who's catching the YouTube. Overland's a OG. Shout out to Overland. We appreciate you. But yeah, no, that shout out to the new people on the on the live. So if you're watching this and this is your first time or one of the first couple of times of watching this live, let us know. Put it in the chat. Let us know this.
Yeah. And to that point too, Nick, sorry, before you go on, and let us know what other topics you want us to cover, man. I mean, ultimately these lives really are an extension of what we feel you all want to know and learn about from us. And so if there are topics or things that you're like, hey, listen, yes, I know I can use AI and go on Google and find it, but I want to know your perspective on it. I want to know how you do it, or how you would do it, or how you would approach this. Just let us know what those topics are. We're more than happy to cover those for you. And as we come up towards the end here, a little after or a quarter two, drop some questions in the comments too. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to circle back and answer those questions for you too as well. So yeah, Nick, sorry, go for it.
No, you good. Come on with the structure. I like that.
Hello.
So I like what you said about knowing the people. The way that I look at that, it's more as far as understanding their language so they know we're for them. Right? So I'm big on studying what the audience wants, who I'm trying to impact, who is the future people that I'm trying to communicate with, because if I understand their language, if I understand their pain points, if I can understand some things that make them laugh, some things that frustrate them, some things that, just will low key put a grin on them, but not necessarily commit to, then I got them. Then they feel as if I'm one of them. And when we're talking about influence, it's not about making them feel as if you're higher than thou. They pay attention to people who are just real and who get them, right? They've been through, you've been through what they've been through. You get the frustrations, you get the highs, you get the lows, you get, the different stages of their life because you've been through it. And so you know certain keywords that other people wouldn't necessarily know, right? We have to have conversations with our audience. We have to go to some of the events that our audience goes to. You know, we may need to poll them out once in a while, right? May need to send some surveys, may need to just, hey, while we're talking to some of our audience, whether it's through a DM, whether it's through an email, whether it's an in-person situation, maybe we have certain questions that we just have in the top of our mind that we, prepared, but is on top of our mind on some, if I'm talking about, creating content, I could just be having a regular conversation with a person and be like, yo, where you at with the content? Like, are we consistent? Are we overthinking? How do we feel it? Because I see it, it's there, it looks fire, right? And then once you give that compliment on based off that you're paying attention to them, they're going to then give you the blueprint. Yo, I feel this, I feel that, I've been going through this. Yo, these things are good, but this thing I need to learn a little bit more about. Boom. This is what your audience needs for you to talk about, to address, to motivate them in, give them a sense of relief. So the more that we know about the people we are trying to influence, the better. Because not only do they feel heard, not only do they feel safe, and those are my two go-tos as far as creating influence and as far as creating loyalty as well. All right, we're back. That was a little quick situation. Let me see if I can get Moose back. Shout out to the, I don't know what just happened. This is what happens. Let me get Moose back. But shout out to everybody who just stayed. Okay? If you see us, if you see me, let me know. If you see me, let me know. If you don't see me, that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna figure this out somehow, some way, right? But here we go. I got Moose back. Thought it was my. Oh nope, it's not. It's not your end. It's my. It was me. It was all me. It was all me. Right. But we're back. We're back.
Let's go. Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, but
it happens. Digital world. Here we go.
Yeah.
Keep it authentic.
See, we talking about digital world. We talking about influence, and we gave too much to YouTube. We gave too much to Facebook. They said, nah, you giving out too many gems. We got to shut this down. Hey, we're here for it. We're here for it.
Fair enough. I did catch the questions. I saw two questions before we cut off. I don't know if you could still pull them up, but I
can still pull them up.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I saw a couple.
Let me see. Do you know who? Oh, shout out to Will. Hold on. Shout out to Will.
Hey.
Come on. That man is doing amazing. When I say amazing things,
that's what's up.
Diddy Revolt, amazing things.
Man, congratulations. That's incredible.
Yeah. Okay, so really cool. You said Ja said something?
Ja the God, yeah.
Hold on.
I like that. That's powerful. Ja the God.
I see
said,
it.
If I remember correctly, what software are you using for this live?
Yeah, I got it. Here we go. Ecamm Live. And shout out to Ecamm Live because even though it crashed real quick, it came right back and it went right straight to the live, right back to where we were serving the people. So shout out to Ecamm Live. It's tech like anything else, but the recovery is smooth.
And tell them the cool part. Tell them the cool part about Ecamm Live. You can get a 14-day free trial on us by going to
www. Hey, it's not that easy, is it? It's not that easy.
Just one time, yeah.
Yes, for the 14-day free trial that we give out, you could go to www.ecamm www.nickyandmoose.com/ecam. That's ECAMM if you want to have lives like this. Just saying. And shout out to those people who are hitting us with the super chat. That's a vibe too. All right, Moose. What else we got?
I think there was one more question from Overland, and we can land this plane and take this baby home, man.
Come on, hold on.
Go
Let me
get
go
me
to
some more
Overland.
food. Hello.
Oh yeah. Wait, let me find her. She drops a lot, so there was a particular one. It was a recent.
It was about how do you handle. I'm like having photographic memory.
Come
this
on,
is crazy.
I see you.
How do you handle self-sabotaging collaborations in your niche? I think that was the question from Sister O.
Self-sabotaging collaborations? Break that. That sounds so deep. I don't even know what that means.
That is very sophisticated, but but by the way, for those of you tuned in, we have done lives specifically on the do's and don'ts of collaboration.
Yeah.
And so for those of you who are like, okay, that's interesting. How do you collaborate just in general? Make sure you go check out that live. That was a good one for sure. And again, shout out to everyone who's joining us for the first time. Thank you for everyone who keeps coming back. Make sure you share this with a couple of people so we can grow this whole Nicky and Moose tribe and keep growing. I did share this also a little earlier, and I'll share it one more time as we find this one final question, or maybe we'll just share it. Okay,
yeah, no, I can't. It's not there.
No,
Overland, if you still here, type it back up. Like type it back and we'll address it. But I definitely don't see it. Yeah.
And as always, man, make sure if there are specific topics you guys want to hear from us about, just comment those either on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. We're findable everywhere.
Oh, here we go. We got she just typed it back.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who's dropping questions. When you collaborate with others, how do you get through self-sabotaging a breakdown? Wait, is a breakdown episode I'd love to see you guys cover. Oh, it's not even a question. It's just she wants us to cover it one time. I'm with it. Okay. We can talk about it.
Okay.
We can talk about it.
I like it. I like it. Bro, Rye in the building. What's up, Rye?
Oh yeah, that's my guy. But people, as we close this out, do me a favor. Drop your favorite emoji if you're watching this live. Drop your favorite emoji if you're watching this replay, so we know if this added any kind of value. It is super important to build that digital influence, okay? If we are talking about growing a following, if we're talking about having some type of presence in this digital world, we have to be intentional with our influence. And each of us have influence. I don't care if you have one person following you or 1 million people following you. We all have influence to somebody. And though some may not be very vocal, though some may not always share our stuff, I bet you if you was to meet them in person, they'd be like, yo, I see your stuff. I really appreciate it. It actually gets me to do this, or got me to push to do this, or made me learn how to do this. You don't know, don't take silence as is not working. Just say that. Don't take that. So be intentional with creating your digital influence. And remember, we're all global brands. You feel me?
YOLO.
And you can get that at createpressure.com for only 24 hours for those people who want the hoodie, who want the shirt, that whole nine. I'll leave it at that. Moose.
Tap in before it's too late.
Oh yeah.
Tap in before it's too late.
That's a whole fact. But let's get Moose to eat and drink and that whole nine. We love you. We appreciate you. Shout out to those who stayed during the tech issues. We love that. And the full episode to 1:30, the full video experience drops every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. The after show drops on Wednesdays as well. Moose, thank you. As always.
Thank you, Nix. Yes, absolutely.
And you know what we're going to say.
Peace, y'all.